Now, we all know that one of the fan-favorite characters in the Star Wars universe, ranging from the prequels all the way to the originals, is no other than Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, a lot of fans had a lot of criticism on the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, but when we look back at what Ewan McGregor did and Sir Alec Guinness, this character really has been favored over the years, and really stands as one of the most iconic Star Wars characters of all time. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing that a lot of fans have been very confused about is exactly what's been going on with Rey's new backstory, her new bloodline plan by Favreau and Filoni, and exactly, what John and Dave have been up to for the past couple of months behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm to really retcon and regulate the character of Rey. And we've gone over some segments about all of this, of what's happening behind the scenes and storyboards that are currently being created to change Rey's history, and there's a lot that is being done. Now, we already discussed about the whole Rey Kenobi plan and mixing it with the whole Palpatine bloodline and such. There's a lot more to the story that we will be going over today, so stay tuned. Now, what's really all the more intriguing about what John and Dave are currently crafting is that they are trying to make sure that Star Wars is going to really become something else through the use of expanding bloodlines and exploring different avenues of Rey's history and how it's going to impact how fans perceive the sequel trilogy films. Because let's face it, a lot of fans had issues, especially with The Last Jedi, and also had some problems with The Rise of Skywalker, and it really led to a lot of fans walking away from the franchise, and that's exactly the type of fans that Disney executives are trying to get back. Now, moving forward from that, with both Favreau and Filoni now creating new retcons for the sequel movies, they are also in the process of completely changing Rey's character in the Star Wars universe. Now, it's noted that currently they are set to make Rey into a Kenobi and holding that bloodline, and are moving along well with the backstory of how Rey becomes a Kenobi in the new Star Wars lore that has already been done in the form of storyboards for a new Star Wars series and a new Star Wars book as well that is set to explain all of this. Now, further, it's noted that a big part of that backstory for Rey Kenobi that is being put together right now is that Obi-Wan Kenobi had a slightly younger brother that did not become a Jedi, who eventually meets and has a child with an actual Jedi that goes against the code. Kenobi's brother is, of course, in these storyboards and is described to go under the name of Waylon for now, which is likely just a code name as opposed to the official name for the character, and is going to be a placeholder of his actual name. Now, Waylon meets a female Jedi that they have a child with that turns out to be Rey's mother, Miramur, making Kenobi's brother the grandfather of Rey. Now, let me just stop here quickly for a second. Now, specifically, when it comes to live action, there is a post-Episode 9 series that Favreau and Filoni are indeed creating that will be announced next year. It's going to be a series that features 10 years after the events of Episode 9, with Daisy Ridley's Rey coming back as a single cameo. But in that show, it's going to tap into her actual new bloodline and really tapping into the backstory of it all. There's also a book that's currently in the works that will be published sometime in 23 and or 24 that's going to feature all of the bloodlines in the Star Wars universe of popular characters, and it's going to show you the family tree on each page. And a part of that, a storyboard or an illustration or plan for that family tree book, involves the whole backstory of Rey, and one of which involves all these different characters such as Waylon and this other character named Lana, who is actually described to be the female Jedi that meets Kenobi's brother. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But moving on to the next thing here, this is where things really begin to pick up and get all the more intriguing, because it really taps more into how Rey really is a Kenobi and why she's not called Rey Kenobi in the sequel trilogy movies. So let's get right into that right now. Now, this is how Rey's mother Miramur is born and eventually meets Palpatine's son, Dathan Palpatine, and has a child that turns out to be Rey. However, it was both Miramur and Dathan Palpatine's plan to give Rey a false name that is based on Miramur's middle name as Solana. This is of course why Rey is going to be called Rey Solana in future canon, to hide that Kenobi and Palpatine bloodline. Now, this was specifically used to hide her Kenobi and Palpatine bloodline connection and her surnames while growing up, and how they were forever buried and hidden after her parents were killed by Ochi. Favreau and Filoni are also adding to the backstory that Obi-Wan's brother, Waylon, was a very strong, Force-sensitive individual that never joined the Jedi Academy. Waylon's wife, the grandmother of Rey, goes under the name of course, Lana. This is described to be yet another code name. Lana is said to have been a Jedi that broke the Jedi code by getting involved in romance and having a child with Waylon. This is all set to become canon by Favreau and Filoni first in a new book that discusses bloodlines and the family trees through popular characters, and eventually in live-action form in that post-Episode 9 TV series. Now let me just stop here quick for a second. I think that this family tree book is going to be very successful. It's going to have the family tree of Palpatine, Skywalker's, Rey's whole thing, Han Solo's backstory. I mean, they're really going to expand on family trees in the Star Wars universe with this upcoming book that they want to get out there on store shelves by 2023 and/or 24. And it doesn't stop there. They're going to be adding bloodlines to many of the characters, like Andor and other characters out there as well. And I think it's going to be a success. I really do. But moving apart from that book idea that they have in store that they are currently working on, I think that the live-action project, this post-Episode 9 series, it's what's really gonna, get it out to the fans the most, because, let's face it, not every Star Wars fan reads the books, and that's fact. The best way to reach, the fans through getting them to become knowledgeable with this canon is in this new live-action series that's going to feature Rey as a cameo that is going to fully explain this whole family tree. So, this character is a very interesting one, Kenobi's brother that is, calling him Waylon. Now, again, it's just a code name. We're not quite sure what his official name is going to be in this family tree book that's, in the process of getting published and written, but Waylon, I think, sounds great as an official name if they want to stick with that, and even Lana as his wife. That leads to the daughter being Miramur, and how Miramur meets Dathan Palpatine, Palpatine's son, and that eventually leads to Rey. So there you have, that's the full explanation there of what Favreau and Filoni are currently planning behind the scenes right now, of how Rey becomes a Kenobi, but specifically both a Palpatine and a Kenobi, hence why she has such power, and why she's going to be called Rey Solana while she's growing up, and also in the post-Episode 9 series, because it's for two reasons. Like I explained, Rey hides her surname, or her parents hid her surname, and the bloodline, but also Favreau and Filoni are using this technique as a way to erase the whole Rey calling herself a Skywalker thing. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.